You know him as Pro Football Doc on X, and we also know him professionally as Dr. David Chao, longtime NFL doctor, and he runs Sports Injury Central out in SoCal, Cal. And it's always great to have you back on C2C, Doc. And we start with the game in Brazil tonight. Now, what is this international travel, different surroundings, threats, lots of cops? You got a lot of guys with hamstring problems. Does all this add up to problems for teams tonight?
Well, it's kind of ironic, right? I guess you're not supposed to wear green, and the two teams with the most green in the uniforms are playing in Brazil. I don't know how that works out, but it's all good. The interesting thing to watch is they're playing on a soccer field, and a soccer field and the grass is usually made for 160-pound players, right? It's not made for football. Let's see how the field holds up. But we already know there are lots of injuries in the Green Bay Packers backfield, running back injuries, running back 2 and 3. So Josh Jacobs may get all the load this week or tonight. He may get it all.
Well, I mean, that's what they got him for, right?
Yeah, I think he's looking forward to it. So, yeah, it should be an interesting game there.
All right, so Christian McCaffrey, everyone's top pick, even though he sat out the entire preseason with his calf. You guys have him at a 92.6 score at Sports Injury Central. You're not worried about his lingering calf problems?
Not really. He played through one last year, didn't miss much time. He sat. We sense right now the NFL, just like last night, they said point of emphasis, illegal formation. You got to line up on the line of scrimmage, with the offensive linemen, and they called that a bunch. If you look at it, Justin Herbert got added late to the injury report. Joe Burrow got added. CMC got added. They want everyone on the injury report just to be listed. Joe Burrow, full practice with his wrist, got added to the injury report. I think that's the same thing with CMC. They want to be very proactive with all their partnerships now with FanDuel and DraftKings and BetMGM and all these different places, that they're really paying attention to the injury report. And if you're a star player and you have anything, they just want to see it on there, and it creates a lot of angst. At least that's what we see so far. The big exception, of course, is T. Higgins, who went LP to DNP, and he's likely out, listed as doubtful.
Okay, so he tweaked his hammy yesterday and was not out there today, and you guys have him knocked down to a 71, so you don't think he's going to be worth a damn?
I think Jamar Chase is closer to a 71 because of limited usage, because he just really started practice. They can't play him for 70 plays and risk a preseason early season muscle acclimation injury. At this point, T. Higgins is very unlikely to play this week and maybe even next week. It seemed like he has a new hamstring strain that happened yesterday, which is why he was limited practice. He was practicing fine until it happened and then out of practice today. So this may be beyond a 1 week injury for his partner, T. Higgins. But Chase is actually going to play, but not full snaps.
Well, I mean, that's unbelievable to me. So their top two guys, one's barely going to play, the other one can't play. That changes that game significantly, if you ask me. What about Russell Wilson of the Steelers with his calf problem? Of course, Tomlin has downplayed it like it doesn't even matter. We'll go with Fields, but it does matter when you're old and you're starting to look washed and you're going down the other side of the mountain and you're already having calf problems throughout the preseason, and now it's tweaked again. I wouldn't play him. What's the point?
Well, Russell Wilson says he's going to do everything possible to play. So I'm joking that maybe he's doing high knees on the airplane down to Atlanta this weekend. The bottom line is he's not going to be 100%. It's a coaching decision. If Mike Tomlin really wants to play Russell Wilson, remember, he's the one and only offensive captain for the Steelers. Russell Wilson is available to play. If he wants to go with a healthier guy, it's Justin Fields. So it's going to be up to Coach Mike Tomlin and how he feels about it.
Jalen Ramsey got paid today, but that doesn't help his sore hamstring. Do you think the Jags should go after him?
Well, look, Miami's got a lot of health issues. The latest one being Jalen Ramsey. That clearly this wasn't a contract hamstring, right? He got paid, and he still has got the hamstring issue. But Miami's has one of the lower SIC scores from our preseason injury preview. They've got a lot of edge rusher and linebacker problems that linger from last year. Now problems at corner, and they have a couple of offensive line issues. Well, and Jacksonville is relatively healthy, the team that they're playing.
So the Bills defense has some issues going into this game in Orchard Park against Arizona.
No question. Matt Milano, there's sideline to sideline linebacker back out after this fracture last year. New injury now. Remember, the Bills moved on from their two veteran safeties, and Damar Hamlin, good on him, he's starting, but he's starting week one maybe because of injury to the guy ahead of him. So Buffalo has some defensive issues as they host the Arizona Cardinals, which are a lot healthier this season on the offensive line. And this is year two coming off the ACL for Kyler Murray. So expecting a much bigger year for him this year.
What about the Cowboys? Corners have some injuries. Can the Browns go after them?
Well, if the Browns tackles hold up, right tackle and left tackle, they can go after them with Amari Cooper, Jerry Jeudy. Deron Bland's out with a foot injury. Trayvon Diggs, it's his first game back after an ACL last year, and he's nowhere near 100%. That is definitely an area of vulnerability for the Cowboys.
How about this Josh Wiley going to wear the Guardian cap for the Titans? What do you think of that procedure, that helmet thing that they wear?
Well, they experimented with it in the preseason. More power to him that he wants to wear it. The other guy who's going to wear it is another backup tight end, Kyle Granderson for the Colts. Those two are the only two that have declared wearing it. Good on them if they want to wear it.
All right, let me ask you, Kyle Van Noy, that orbital bone he fractured, how long is he going to have to deal with that?
Depends on how it affects his vision. Very unusual injury when you have a helmet, right? I mean, because that's usually protected. Very unusual. Yeah, you can wear a visor and get protected, but it all depends on his vision. If he's got vision issues, it'll be a little bit